It seems like everything is fine, so let me just test this out. All right, everything's a go. Testing, 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 testing. We are live. I know we've been making a lot of videos lately. We're going to continue to. Ooh, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Always something going on here. Let me see here. Test the chat here. Let me see here. Hello. That should pop up there too. Yep, everything looks great. It looks great. It looks great. So you know I'm not one for introductions or intros. So let's dive in. Hello, you haters and lovers I appreciate you guys actually jumping in and taking a look. Don't forget, if you like what you hear, sub, like, and follow. All my links should be in the description or the about section here. So let's get this shit going on. Let's get it started. There is a lot of rhetoric around being single, women being single. So I coined the phrase women being incels. I mean, sorry, ensigns, basically. So that's how I feel like. I feel like women are ensigns and men are incels, right? So if you don't know what an incel is, that is involuntarily celibate. That's what an incel is. And ensigns are women that are involuntarily single. So there's been massive talk about women being, independent. I don't need no man. I don't need no relationship. I just want one, right? That's what they say. I just want one. I don't need it. And I mean, there's been so many different studies stating that women that are over 30 that are single are unhappy. But then you also have these skewed measures as well, where you'll see that women are happy and they're getting everything, they're getting their bag and stuff like that. But then you go online, you see a ton of people that are hurt, a ton of women that are hurt. They don't want to be single. They don't want to be single, and I don't blame them. Women, the way that a woman works in terms of psychological is that women are social. Women are completely social, and being single just doesn't jive well with social class. It just doesn't. Women are the most that's on social media. Women are the most engaging in the social media. Women are most likely to be in social events. Women seem to need that social element in their life. So a woman to claim that they don't need a man, that would be a lie. It's a lie. Even if you kind of mask this to say that I don't need a man, but I want a man, is not an accurate statement because we see a lot of incidents where women are mostly on dating websites. They're the most they talk about being single the most. It's just up until recently that men decided to kind of open up the hidden doorways and passages to how we felt as men, and in these being single as well. It's a two-way street because although I'm saying that women don't like to be single, men don't like to be single either. You know, humans are meant to interact with each other, and that's the kicker. We want to be together, for better or for worse. I don't know what it is. Humans have this situation. They have this ego of that needs to be satiated, and at this point in time, because women kind of control finances or they control the spending in the United States, really in the world, or anywhere that has women are free enough to actually purchase things and make those particular decisions. They run that whole gamut. They run that whole thing, all of it. So, in order for a woman to continue to spend, it's like you need them to be empowered in that particular case. And I know that sounds like a misogynistic thing, but anybody's ego could be stroked when you have media catering to them. That's how celebrities they get their egos stroked all the time. Everyone, when you put somebody up on a pedestal, they get that validation. You know what I'm saying? But the question here is, if you are supposedly happy and you're single and you don't need anybody, and why these trips that you go on to with your girlfriends? Why dress up at all? Why put on lipsticks? Why spend so much money on the hair? You know what I mean? Why buy these expensive clothes just to go to the gym? What are you actually looking for? What exactly are you looking for when it comes to things like that? the typical answer would be is that I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. I want to feel good. Unfortunately, in order for you to feel good or to be critiqued, so to speak, well, in order for you to feel good, you need to know where you rank. That's the kicker. You can't just do something and have nothing compare it to because you won't know how to feel. You need that comparison. So are you dressing up for women so women can compare you? You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, I mean, there's just a lot of fugazi shit that I see in this space where women say that I don't wanna do this shit for you. I'm doing it for me, and I don't need you either because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Now, here's the reasons why women will say that they are single, right? And why they've chose to be single, right? See if that pops up just nicely here. Okay. All right. There we go. They typically say that they are busy starting their careers, which that okay, fine. You know what I'm saying? But I have a question. If you're busy starting your careers, this is to build yourself up, right? Actually, I'll probably hold off on that question. I'll probably hold off on that question. The second thing they say is that they are busy raking up on degrees, right? So you need the degrees to make sure that you get the money, right? Then the third situation is that they have obscene student loan and debt, and they don't want to carry that over to another person. And be honest with you, they don't want to carry, they don't want to receive it either. The fourth reason is that they're not particularly religious, so they're not in any kind of rush to be in a relationship because if you look at the bottom, they want to have a lot of sex. They want to be out there. They want to be, you know, they want to be the hot girl summering it out. That's what they want, right? But going back to five, they say that I haven't met the right person. Is what they say. I haven't met the right person. That's the reason why I chose to be single because I just don't have the right person in this case. I don't have them because they have a laundry list of reasons as to why uh don't they don't want it. They have a lot of reasons why they don't want the typical man. They again um when a woman is actually women are hypergamous. We've heard this time and time and time and time and time again. They are hypergamous, and so that they would like to date up. I had this really interesting conversation with a friend of mine today, and I mentioned women choose two different paths, right? The two paths that they do mention, right, is or they use when it comes to a guy is they shoot really fucking high or really fucking low. There's usually no in between. You know what I mean? And high could either mean looks or money or both. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the matter is, it's way past what they could actually get in that market. And if they shoot low, the reasoning is well because there's no competition and the fact that they have power over the situation. If that person is superior or above that person, right? Then that makes me feel good. So it's a dance of feeling good about the situation. You know, you either make a lot of money by shooting high and hopefully somebody gets you, or wanting high really. Because not every woman can get like a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Or 100,000-aire. 6 billionaire, six-figure-aire. Then they'll also choose, or they will choose if they can't get that somebody low where they can control the situation. Is what I typically see around a roundabout. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't think that women nowadays are actually choosing to be. Let me just take a look here. Give me a second here. I don't think that women are actually choosing to be single. All this talk about them, am frozen. What the fuck? All this talk about women, you know, saying that I am choosing to be single because there are no good men out there. You know what I'm saying? That's what they typically will say. There are no good men out there, right? Or I'm working on me, which is actually what I wanted to bring up because I didn't forget that. I think it was number 6. They'll typically say that they're working on being a better people. So what I'm noticing about all of this shit, right? Everything that you see is that all of this is selfish. All of this is selfish. You building a career for you, right? You're getting these degrees because of you, right? You know that because of this, because of the actual degrees, nobody's going to want someone that has that much debt. So you got that situation going on, right? People that are typically, they don't believe in any kind of extra, you know, something religious, are typically very selfish people. You know, they'll do philanthropy, they'll do all this other stuff, and then they'll write that shit off if they are rich, or they'll do a little bit. Let me get my old shoes out. You know what I'm saying? Let me sell my old shoes. You know, to make me feel good about it, because somebody else don't have shoes. That's not how shit goes. Who don't want that? And wait, what is it? Who don't want that? Come on, man. I know. So you get that situation, and also I haven't found the right person yet. So I beg the question: who is the right person? What are you looking for exactly? And typically, women will look for either social class for their own betterment, right? They will look for financial status for their own benefit because they're not sharing the money, or they will look for men that are weak. That's a big situation. They'll look for a guy that is absolutely weak so they can have control over the situation, so they can control the finances of the situation, and they can do their own internal philanthropy, right? Let me give him some Nikes. Let me give him some this and the PlayStation and blah 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 blah. And then when this motherfucker don't act right, I'll take that shit away. I have the power to give. I have the power to take away. It's what I'm typically seeing in this situation. That is a situation where it's all about me. I haven't met the right person because all the stuff that you're looking for is most likely unobtainable. You can't obtain that type of person because it's full of contradictions. You know what I'm saying? And unrealistic. Most women in general and what they're looking for is completely unrealistic. And then when you question them about it being realistic, they say that how come I can't want these things? It's not that you can't want them. Of course you can want them. They'll go ahead, knock yourself out. The person don't exist though. I mean, you can want a lot of things. I would like to fly. I don't have the ability to fly on my own. And like they always say, it's nice to want things. It's nice to want things. Don't mean you're going to get it, but it's nice to want things. There is a lot of single women out there that have a lot of baggage, whether it be a whole bunch of kids. Somebody has to come in and take care of you. It's a selfish endeavor, right? When it's money, they could stop working. They could have somebody take care of their student loans, right? If someone's making enough money. That ain't fair either. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the whole situation, none of that shit's fair. That's not fair. But for some reason, society, I can't blame it on a woman either. For some reason, society says that that's absolutely fair. That a woman can want all sorts of standards and men cannot. That's one of the reasons why I decided to do this in general, because that there's a balance that's needed. And at first, I was wondering to myself, why add on to the negativity? You know, there's so many other, men advocate content creators, but it's not like me riding a wave. It's really just the internet needs to be polluted with all of this information so that we can get balance. Because we've been raised, especially if you're a millennial, all of the talk shows were all female centric. It was all in the name of benefits of a female. It was always putting a man down. It was always there to remove accountability as well, which women don't like accountability. You know, a woman can go on a talk show and say, I'm a single mom. He cheated on me. He left me high and dry. And everyone would just believe her. For some reason, when it comes to men, it's automatically believed that that we are the aggressors. And I don't feel that's fair. Because just as much as women were oppressed by men, supposedly, right, they were also liberated by men. That movement, that movement that for women, that was facilitated by men. Men did that. Men started that up. Men in particular positions of power allow for that movement to happen. That's a true story. Whether you like what I say or do not like what I say, that's what it is. So you got to ask yourself here, right? All of this independent stuff, and I don't need a man, and I can be single, and I could sit there and have my degrees and my high paying jobs and don't need a man at all, you know? That that's so stupid. That that's the problem. All of that garbage that was being put out, the single ladies, and I depend on me, and all of that stuff, which is a contradiction because there are so many women that are looking for sugar daddies. There's websites all over the place. You know what I mean? They're looking for some guy to come and sweep them away from their troubles and finances and make them feel good about it. So if you don't need a man, why do you look for those things? Is the question. Why do you look for it? I always wonder if that's the case. Why are you looking for a man to come take care of your debt? Well, you know that when it comes to working in the real world, that shit ain't free. It's not free. It takes time, a lot of time. Time that a lot of women don't have if they want a family. Most men are stable when they become 40, 45, 50. That's when we become stable and financial to basically take care of a family in this day and age. It's possible for us to take care of everything. But the thing is, women revel in the fact that they want to be empowered and not have any type of companionship or partnership. They don't want any of that. They want to just do it all by themselves. And now you're reaping the rewards. All that debt that you've acquired from all those degrees, that's you. Take care of that. You know, you can sit there and say that I make $100,000, 120, $150,000, but you still got to pay off those fucking loans. And guess what? By the time you pay them off, first of all, your salary is not really 100,000, right? After you pay off the school loans, because you have to pay that shit off. So that's eating into your fucking money. And we already know that them shits are about as much as a fucking house. These loans. Then you got to get your own house because women like those type of statuses. I got my own house and stuff like that. That's a lot of women. They like that shit. You know, they like putting that shit out on social media. You can even tell in general the behavior of let me see if I'm moving here. Okay. You could tell the behavior of how women. Let me see. What do you say? Women love useless degrees. That's messed up. Yeah, they'll get a useless degree and fucking be down with it. Love it. And you know the funny thing is, Nelson, YouTube blocked that shit, yo. That comment that you say, women love useless degrees. For some reason, you can't say all of that. And guess what? The person who is a CEO of YouTube is a woman. She's poor. She's the shot caller. This is why, like, they don't want to have that particular truth at all. Like, they don't want to have that truth. They don't want to know the truth. They want to be in Disney World, Disneyland. That's what they want to do. So they'll block any type of truth to continue to live in that fantasy of that there is somebody out there that's 6'6" with a 12-inch phallic organ, right? And makes $1 million, and that He didn't earn that $1 million. I mean, he doesn't need to work that many hours to have those many millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? He could be home and take care of you and shit like that while still somehow making money. That type of fucking fantasy that doesn't exist. Oh, and he won't cheat on you either. He will not cheat on you. Don't worry, he won't cheat on you. Not only is he extremely sought after, he just won't cheat on you. Let me see what you say here. He said, "Why am I only uh, making 35K a year, bitch? You knew that you went to school. You know you went to school for it. Yeah, most of that money is removed from the student loans. So they can say on paper that they make X, Y, and Z, but they really don't because they have to pay that loan off. And by the time you pay that shit off, you be already in your 40s and you cannot have a family. I was yesterday years old when I found out that the body does not reproduce them eggs in a female. I didn't know that. The body reproduces these eggs and keeps them there for the duration of the woman's life. And every time a woman has, like, she ovulates, that's one egg away. And eventually they don't have any eggs at all because they use their stores. I had no idea that it worked like that. I thought it kind of worked like a man in the case where, he can just create them. And it doesn't work that way. So, like I said before, when you get all your shit paid off, it really hurts the situation because you can't have any kids if you were looking for a family. And guess what? The very thing that you say is you want, they don't want you because you don't have the feminine qualities. A lot go to school for something that they like, but it doesn't pay. So the man gotta get the job and pay for the bills. Yeah, none of those jobs, those social class jobs, teachers and shit like that. None of those actually make any kind of money. That's the funny thing. They don't make money. So that's why they're so in need for a guy to come and kind of help them pay for the things, which it sounds like a need to me, if you ask me. Sounds like they need somebody to bail them out. That's what it sounds like. But no one want to have that discussion at all. You know what I mean? Just people out there, men out there that remains to be simps for women. I truthfully believe in this case that women literally, that bubble, that illusion bubble needs to fucking go. That shit needs to go. It needs to go. It is highly unfortunate that that illusion just keeps being perpetuated. That women don't need men, that they could do everything by themselves, and that they can start a family, they can go and get their eggs frozen and then get someone else to take care of the kid and then fuck that kid's life up because you want to be masculine and independent, and now you created another fucking independent. So sorry about that. Got a message. So that's a big problem. There are biological reasons as to why you would need, like, why women need men and men want women. Really, that's what it really boils down to. There are biological reasonings for that, and nobody wants to really talk about that shit. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about that shit. Deep down inside, a woman is they want to be families. They want to have the family social. They want to be nurturers. You know what I'm saying? They want all of that shit. They want all of that shit. And guess what, right? Um, Society says that they shouldn't want it. You shouldn't want all those things. It's unfortunate, but that's what society says. You shouldn't want those things. You should want to be like a man for some reason. For some reason, there's toxic masculinity, but at the same time, women are striving to be men. There are a lot of women that complain about this shit too. They complain about, damn, I didn't know it was that much work, to work that many hours. Even if it is an office job. They don't say anything to their managers and supervisors there, but they come home and they need to cry to somebody, and their girlfriends don't want to hear it. So men typically kind of diffuse that. And that goes for anybody that works. If you work a hard day, typically somebody, well, men are typically not that social anyway to talk about that shit. They'll just do something to disperse that energy. If a man is having a hard work or having a hard day at work, he'll go to the bar and just drink and just contemplate. That's what a man would do. You know, a woman likes to talk things out. Men don't. That's the biological stuff that I'm talking about. But I always wonder, and I remember KS for mentioning this shit too, why men don't want to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Like, no guy wants to hear that. No guy wants to hear that type of shit. It is one, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. Let me see what you said here. Used to be, used to be the bar. Kids turned it into PlayStation. Sony cashed in on. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. They didn't want to really talk about a whole bunch of shit. They want to escape it, and women want to talk about the shit. Like I said, today I had an interesting conversation with one of my friends, and I was telling him, and we were going to go back to the beginning here about how women aim really, really high or really, really low. And if you're wondering why women pick trash guys, is to control the situation and to stay out of competition. Women do not like to compete. They don't like to be competition or excuse me, confrontational. That's in their nature to not be confrontational. So whatever it is to keep a woman from being confrontational, that's what they'll do. That's why women don't typically go up to a guy and be like, "Hey, my name is this." Even if they do it in some sort of feminine way, they don't want to do it because it feels bad, and women operate off of feelings. So they will give hints, subtle hints, and a guy will need to pick that shit up and go up to the girl and try to decipher what's really going on over there. But women don't like any kind of confrontation, so they'll go after the guy that is a lesser or a weak man. A guy that is a weak man. I'll say that because guys are designed to be, providers. You know, um, and you know, having a woman pay for your shit is like really, really, like really feminine. To be honest with you, it's really feminine. You know. So why is my keyboard fucking Espanol? What the hell? But that's what goes on. That's what goes on. They will go after a guy where it's not going to be. It's going to be a very feminine acting guy, or a guy that just will not take charge of a situation where a woman can nag, and a guy just fucking folds with the nagging. I don't feel like fucking hearing it. Fuck it, just whatever. That's not how men are supposed to operate. That's not how men are supposed to operate. And they'll choose situations where they can have the pants in a relationship. That's what they're really looking for and what they're choosing. Or they will do anything if they know that they could shoot for the fucking sun. They'll do anything for that particular guy, at least temporarily, to get the money, get the bag and everything like that. So that's another thing that they do too. They will say things like that or do things to get the guy. They will do it, they will go through extreme lengths to get a guy with money or status. Like taking a condom and, taking the fucking contents out the condom and trying to impregnate themselves. Shit like that. Shit like dating guys that are like double their age or you know, have 30, 40 years over them, you know? So you get crazy shit like that all the time. It's pretty wild when you look at how all of that actually transpires. It really is. 'Cause I don't think a guy could go after a woman that, well, I mean, you're gonna have outliers, but we're not talking about the outliers. But you're gonna have a guy, or you're not gonna have a guy mess with a 70-year-old woman that's in his 20s. You know what I'm saying? Because men are visual. We want the visual shit. And women typically don't care as long as you're providing for them because they operate differently. And most of the time they think that men are the same as women. And no matter how many times they say this shit, it will never be true. I don't care how you feel about it. It will never be true. It will never be true. Never. You'll never be a man, and I will never be a woman, no matter what the fuck I do. Intrinsically, through and through and through, I will never be that way. So, yes, to me, are women ensigns? Yes. They are involuntarily single. They don't want to be single because we wouldn't hear the amount of shit online about being single and about somebody, hurt their feelings or somebody broke up with them or single mothers. You wouldn't hear any of that shit. And the fact that this world is so programmed to just agree with that narrative is absolutely insane for me. That is so fucking crazy to me. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. You know, that men don't want to speak up on it. Typically, that's why I'm going to keep doing it too. Typically, men don't want to speak on this shit. Nope. Why would they? They don't want to speak up on it because it's going to fuck up, their game. As much as, I mean, if a guy can look, right? If a guy can look beta to get the vajayjay, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. That is fucking criminally insane to me. That's a crime to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you see. It really is. It really is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you know men don't want to speak up on everyone trashing them, everyone calling them toxic. The fact that a man can't be a man, but a woman can be a man. And I'm not talking about transgender either. I'm talking about masculine traits. That's the shit that I'm talking about. Masculine traits. They can do that. That's totally fine. You know what I mean? But when it comes to what do a man being a man and a man lusting over a woman in terms of visually, because that's where you're visual, it's horrible. But when a woman can lust over a man or another woman, there's no problem with that. Ow, she looks so cute. Oh my gosh, women can touch dudes. No one will give a fuck. Women can touch other women. No one will give a fuck. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me. Everyone wants the equal standards and everything like that, but no. And the thing is, yes, I'll say this. And this is new for me to not really have this particular show without people, but I have to start doing this shit. I'm going to come out in a limb and say this. A, men and women are not equal. I can't say that shit enough. We are not equal. We are not in the same type of category. That's like comparing a fish to a fucking squirrel. We're not the same. We're not the same. We have different philosophies, different ways of thinking. We're just not the same. And I had this long conversation today with a friend, and we spoke about this shit. Men are very visual. He told me, one of my friends, he was like, I don't understand how a woman can be bisexual. How a woman can like a woman and a man at the same time for totally different reasons. And I'm like, no. A woman is going to like masculine energy, but she also wants the emotional side. And men are not typically emotional, so they go after the woman to get that emotional side. That's what typically happens, right? But then you have this situation too. Why are women looking for more feminine energy? And that's because the household that they grew up in don't have that shit. It's not feminine. And typically, things tries to balance themselves out. So if you have a house full of masculine women, then that's going to be the typical norm. They have too much masculine energy, so they're going to look for something that's feminine. Am I saying that people aren't born gay or not? No, I'm not even going in that direction. But I'm just looking at the situation from afar. And the same thing with men. Well, going back to the woman, if a woman is in a household with a single mom that's trying to make it, that mom is going to need masculine traits to make it. Why does she need it? Because she needs to work all them fucking hours. She needs to bust her ass, and she cannot be home to take care of them fucking kids. She can't. She can't be home. She can't be home. So the kid don't really have the backing and the full support of parents. And the only time that she sees the parents is the mom that's acting masculine. So she's going to go out and look for or be so used to masculine energy that she's going to want something different. Same thing with guys. Usually, broken households leads to broken people. Sue me. I don't know what else to say. I would like for somebody to kind of like join in this conversation to see how they feel about it. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm just going to keep doing my thing forever and always. And listen, this is it. Thank you guys for showing up, and peace out.